I'm Kyle with the Daily News Autos, and this is the 2017 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. Now, this is by no means a perfect pickup. For $45,000, you'd probably expect the interior to be a little bit nicer, and it can't quite haul as much as some of its competitors, but it can do one thing as well as any mid-size pickup on the road, and that's go off it. So let's quit messing around and get to it. So one of the first things that strikes you about the Tacoma is the look. Unlike some of its ancestors, the 2017 Tacoma has a very distinct look. It's got a nice big grille, all black bumper. It's got the big bulky hood, and it's also got the big 16-inch black wheels and that are wrapped in these big beefy Kevlar enforced tires. The interior, as you can see, is not too complicated, which is nice in one way in that it's easy to clean if you do take this thing out in the mud and, you know, get it dirty. But also for $45,000 or thereabouts, you can get something that feels a lot nicer from other truck brands. Now, Toyota has a pretty decent infotainment system set up, although it is surprisingly lacking in Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, those sort of connectivity features. That being said, you can still sync up your phone for calls and messages, Bluetooth if you want to play music. You can also get traffic and weather updates. In addition to being plain, the Tacoma's interior is also lacking in comfort, especially compared to some of its competitors. The seats are only two-way adjustable. If you're a little taller like me and you may want to adjust the height, or maybe you're a little shorter and you want to, you know, lift up the seat a bit so you can have a good vantage point over this big bulking hood, you're kind of out of luck. It does have leather-wrapped seats that are heated, but again, in terms of overall like luxury for a truck that's going to cost you $45,000, you know, it's really not there. The back seat also comfortably appointed, but lacking in space, especially for someone like me who's, you know, 6'2". So if you're going to be riding around with, you know, 4 adults, things might get a little tight. Now, as you may know or might have guessed, Jersey City isn't really known for its backwoods or off-road trails. But luckily we were able to improvise a little bit thanks to a pretty banged up stretch of road actually just a block away from our office here near Liberty View Park. Up front, the Tacoma has a coil spring double wishbone suspension with a stabilizer bar and bigger springs that add about an inch of ride height to this year's model. In the back, we've got a leaf spring rear suspension and gas-powered shock absorbers and another sway bar. In addition to the off-road suspension and the sway bars, the Tacoma has a few other features that help make off-road driving easier and in some cases more fun. We've got a skid plate right behind the front bumper, which helps keep some of the important parts of the undercarriage intact. We've got a automated crawl system up here, which you can adjust depending on how fast you want to go, but this is great for going uphill or going downhill in a controlled fashion. Now, these big potholes and puddles don't quite show the full capability of the TRD's off-road suspension, but you get a good sense for, you know, its ability to handle rough terrain and you know, uneven ground. And yeah, it's going to bounce you around a little bit, but that's kind of the point. In terms of towing capacity, the Tacoma gets a fairly hefty 6,400 pound max rating, which is impressive, especially for a mid-sized truck. Although the diesel-powered versions of the Chevy Colorado and the GMC Canyon put out 7,700, even Nissan's Frontier can get 6,700 pounds, which is just a bit more than the Tacoma. So, like most mid-size trucks, it's not going to be a record setter in terms of how much you can haul around, but there's certainly enough there if you want to use it for, lighter work projects, hauling around equipment, that sort of thing. The Tacoma has a 1,175 pound payload rating. So, like I said, you can load up a fair amount of stuff into the shortened bed, but it's not going to haul as much as, again, the GM competitors, even the Nissan Frontier. Now, TRD stands for Toyota Racing Development, and these trucks, the Tacoma, Tundra, and 4Runner, are all based on Toyota's rally racing vehicles. This line of trucks is right up there with the Jeeps of the world in terms of capability and real fan following. But other automakers have kind of taken notice of the popularity of this segment, and that's why you are starting to see things like the Raptor from Ford or the forthcoming Chevrolet Colorado Z72, which are these very off-road performance-oriented smaller trucks. So you're going to see some more competition for the Tacoma in the future, but I think for at least the next couple of years, this is going to remain the sort of the cream of the crop. Well, that's as much off-roading as Jersey City has to offer. I'm Kyle Campbell, and I'll catch you next time.